Hello, wealth hackers, IWIN members, everybody out there in this nation of followers of the Truth About Real Estate Investing show. This episode is titled "Quitting Corporate at 29 by Investing in Real Estate and Stock Hacking" with Mr. REI himself, Cody Yeh. Before we get to there, this interview is not what I expected. This week's guest is Cody Yeh, who dropped some bombs on this interview I didn't know about, and it was quite a pleasant surprise. Made for a very fun interview. It's days like these that I love my work, and we'll get to young Cody in just a moment. The remediation, just to update my real estate world. We had a flood in one of our St. Catharines properties in one of these torrential rains that happened just a few weeks ago, but 2 Saturdays ago. The remediation is ongoing. Insurance says they're going to cover it. Thank goodness I have sewer backup coverage. So please do check your own policies if you're covered. My policy has no cap on the remediation. And it's gonna be a decent size because the amount of damage in the basement is considerable. Anything that the water touched basically should be replaced. It's sewer backup, right? You don't really want anything in your home that's touched sewer water, do you? I can't imagine what the health ramifications would be. Anyways, the remediation of my flood damage is ongoing. The emergency cleanup was done right away. It was done the Monday. I think they finished the Monday following that Saturday. Which means they bring in like big commercial oversized fans to air out all the moisture. They take out a bunch of flooring, trim, and doors and drywall. Anything the water touched has to be disposed of. I'm just waiting for a quote on a whole bunch of stuff. Thank goodness for having a good team and proper insurance. Shout out to Dan Tetzlaff of Hub International. Cherry and in our more personal world, Cherry and I have so much going on while my kids are at day camp in a conservation area, which is awesome. My kids are going to camp for 2 weeks before they start bike camp. That's another thing. But they're in a conservation area, so they can swim in one of the cleanest lakes in Ontario. They're hiking every day. They're having a blast with their friends. And it's great to see them happy and with big smiles and really dark tans. My kids look really dark, which makes all this extra side hustle and work hustle stuff that Cherry and I, to me, it just makes it all worth it. And I just hope you're all out there enjoying yourselves with the summer and enjoying the fruits of your labor too. Quick she trader versus he trader update. Last week I won by a pretty wide margin, a pretty significant margin, close to 4-1. But that doesn't matter how much you win by. We're just going by who wins the week. This week, Cherry has a slight lead on me. It's a very slight lead. So I think the score is looking like it will be 13-6. So it's not a complete embarrassment by the heat trader. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's another 5-figure week for us in US dollars of cash flow. So 5 figures of US dollars in cash flow this week alone. And we did the same thing last week, and we probably did the same thing the last 8 weeks. It's needless to say, it's been a great market for stock hackers, no different than this week's guest is Cody Yeh. So introducing Cody, he's a first-generation immigrant who came to Canada while still high school age. He went to university, got a white-collar job, but apparently that white-collar job was not good enough as he quit it. He quit this past January. I learned of this before we started recording, but I assumed he got another job. Right? What 29-year-old doesn't have a job? This one apparently. Cody is a YouTube influencer. He is a real estate investor, and he buys houses and he installs legal basement apartments in Barrie, Ontario. And he took our stock hacker course last fall. Cody is, for as long as I've known Cody, Cody came into my world because he was interested in real estate, and his license plate literally says Mr. MR and the letters REI, which are supposed to stand for real estate investor, investment, whatever. So these combined investments allowed him to quit his job. I won't get into it too much details because I don't want to spoil the episode. So I haven't known Cody for a super long time. I've known Cody a couple of years, but what I do know about him is that he hustles, and that separates him from the pack. And honestly, his story inspires me. So without further ado, I give you Cody Yeh. Hey Cody, what's keeping you busy these days?
Hey, I am trading stock options, preparing for my real estate license, and just keeping busy managing properties. And I forgot, mainly is spending a lot of time making YouTube videos.
Don't you have a day job too?
Nope, not anymore.
Wait, no day job at all?
Nope. Yeah.
Oh, how long has that been?
It's been since the beginning of the year.
Okay, so it's July.
Yeah.
I thought okay, so we talked about you leaving your previous employer. I didn't know you realized you didn't join a new employer.
Yeah, I left Honda. I used to work at Honda in 2019.
Great cars.
Yeah, they make great cars, very solid cars. I've been working there for a good 5 years, and I decided I want to move closer to the city, and especially North York. That's where my friends and family are. I feel I sacrificed so much time when I was working at Honda because I work a lot of overtime to really get all the down payments and all the funds to fund my trading account. And I feel like I'm losing a lot. So I found a job that's closer to North York and I just moved back.
What city were you living in when you had the job?
It's in a city probably no one hears about. It starts with the A. It's called Alliston.
Right. And that's like what? Like 15 minutes south of Barrie or something?
Yeah, it's around that. It's kind of in its own bubble.
Okay.
And yeah.
You lived there?
Yeah.
You owned your house or you rented?
No, I actually bought one of my first houses over there. Yeah, that was when I bought that house, I thought, hey, if down the road I'm going to create a family there, that's where we're going to stay for at least 5 years. So that was a single family, detached, yes.
Okay. So walk us through, what was the plan when you left your full-time job and main income?
Well, the trading option was taking off and have some cash flow from the properties. I kept my living costs really low. I'm just still driving a Honda. Always been driving a Honda, so I have some saving as well. I just thought I've been working so hard for the past 5 years, and I look at people around me who climb the corporate ladder, and that's not something I really want to do. And I work kind of backwards on what does my ideal life want to look like. I want to have more time, like yourself, when you have kids. I want to spend more time with my kids. Is this job going to get me that? And I see a lot of the partners that higher up, they actually spend more time working and grinding themselves out. So I know this is not the way, and I didn't have to fully plan out. I'm still figuring out, but sometimes got to have a leap of faith and make it work, right? And the good thing for me is that because my cost of living is really low, I don't have kids yet, right? So my liability is a lot lower, right?
Right. Aren't you're renting though? Rent in Toronto is not cheap.
Well, I kind of live with a friend. So yes, I do rent. That's really just for the convenience, right?
Very good. Okay. Can you share like where is most of your income from then? From the YouTube, from the options, from the real estate?
I'll say mostly are from stock options.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's like when I started on a YouTube channel about when I generate thousands of dollars passive income, like this, I have to check it before I came here because I know you might ask this question. So I checked my this month is not, it's not like 5-digit yet, but it's a good 6,000 solid realized in July up to today, right? So
okay, so hang on, just for the listeners so they know, today's the 22nd.
Correct.
So in 22 calendar days, you've generated $6,000 Canadian?
Yes,
right,
and that's realized.
Okay,
right?
fantastic.
So I'm not pushing really hard, but that's a good amount for me to really...
That's like, that's 3 times bigger than CERB, so that's 3 times better than a government handout.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that will be the majority of it. And since the mortgage deferral came out, I don't really need it, but I took it because I want to make sure that I have enough cash reserve in each property. And after that, I just took it out and then kind of put it in the trading account because I know the interest rate is so low and I can generate a better return that way. I wouldn't recommend to everyone if you're not comfortable, but that's the way I did it.
What were you generating in income with the stock options before you quit? You had to have some sort of level of comfort.
Yeah.
Before you took that pretty big leap.
I mean, it was quite consistent, right? It was quite consistent. I would say around similar, like 5-6 grand per month.
Wow.
Yeah, because as
a side hustle.
I was a day trader before, right? I was telling you this off the podcast. I was a day trader trading Taiwanese a stock future index at night while I was holding a daytime job. So what I would do is I'll work from 9 to 5, sometimes 6. I'll come home, I'll prepare, and I'll get ready for the Asian market to open. Like for people who don't know, that's actually a 12-hour difference. So 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, that's when they open. And I'll sit in front of my computer with 4 screens and I will get ready. And that was a very, very interesting experience. I actually, I had a coach as well. Even though he taught me everything, he said, you're going to lose money for the first months just because your mentality is not ready. Your mind's not right. It's not set right. And then I did. I grind it out. I keep getting stop losses first couple of months. And then after that, the second year I actually make 66% for that year. And what makes it more amazing is because we only use 10% of the capital. That's what we've been taught to maintain a good, healthy mindset, is that we only use 10% of our capital. So imagine using 10% of our capital, we generate 66%. That's actually 660% per year annualized, right? And that was only the second year. But I stopped doing that and then I got introduced to this stock option. And I like this more because it's not as stressful. And plus, I don't fall asleep in front of my 4 screen because I already have a daytime job.
Right.
And then sometimes, depending on the day, I have a different condition, right? Sometimes I'm very tired because I went to the gym. And then there was 3 days in a row, I put on a big position and I fell asleep, literally. And then I woke up to 15 minutes later. I'm like, oh, thank God it went the right way. But
it worked out each time then that you fell asleep?
No, and the second time was just a small loss. But I'm like, I think I should stop this maybe.
Right. Now, I guess now I think you need to be really healthy mindset.
Yeah.
When you're investing, even when you're real estate buying,
you
should be in a pretty healthy mindset when you're buying a house, investment property. Same thing with when we trade.
Definitely. Yeah. The healthy mindset is very important. And I will say that is actually going into a trade with the right mindset is the most important thing. And that will actually help you navigate through the trade in case you run into any hurdles. You don't do the wrong thing just to fix things.
Yeah, it'd be no different if you're trying to buy a house, right? Say you have like a crying baby one hand and you had a terrible day, you got chewed out by your boss that day. Are you really in the mindset to buy an investment property? It pretty much had to be like a home run for you to actually do the deal. Maybe not even, because for you and I, home run usually means pretty ugly house, right? So that's the unfortunate side of real estate not everyone realizes. But when I first met you, you were all about real estate, or maybe this is the context I met you in. Actually, can you please share how we met? Because I don't even know how we met. You suggested that for one of the things we talked about. I'm like, okay, I don't even know.
Actually, we met in Oakville in the old Rockstar office.
Oh, okay.
You host a weekly meetup every Saturday in a small room. And then I was just one of the average person who go and listen to it. I don't know much about real estate at that time.
You lived in Alston at the time?
Yeah.
And you came to Oakville?
Yeah, that's
That's over an hour.
Yeah. That's where like back then I go to a lot of events and yourself, I listen to your podcast when I'm driving, right? And yeah, I met you there. I'm nobody back then. I don't think we chat much. You just kind of say, hey, read this book. And I just kind of sat in the back and this kind of makes sense. And I remember Rogers was there sharing a map of Hamilton's tenants profile, right? Ranking from A to C. And then I'm like, I don't know nothing about Hamilton, really, right? But that's where it all started, right? I met you there and then got me to Rain and then got me to your iWin and basically just take off from there.
Has it been an okay journey?
No, it's been...
You've made money?
No, it's been great. All the property has been really good, yeah. Even the worst case is a tenant owe me $6,000, but property appreciate by $140,000 just to be conservative. So within 3 years, so I mean, to me, adding that with the mortgage pay down and appreciation, that's nothing to compare, right?
Right. And investors have to remember that too. No one's perfect.
No.
Like, I've had lots of killers on this show and, it's just, they don't always talk about the downsides, right?
Yeah.
They talk about net figures, for example. So I'm up net 30%, whatever, ROI, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
You don't always know all the details versus I know a lot of these people quite well personally. So I know the challenges they go through. And then what the amateur investor gets wrong is they see like, oh, tenant owes me $6,000.
Yeah.
This was a bad investment.
Correct.
They don't even look at the whole picture.
No.
Right?
No.
And then like for your example, how many hours did you invest to make the total return?
Not really much. I mean, that's probably the worst story I ever had until now, right?
Well, say it was 100 hours. Actually, my math's not good. Say it was 1,000 hours, then your hourly rate would still work out to like $140 an hour. That's a pretty good hourly rate.
Yes.
I don't think you put in 1,000 hours, did you?
No, we didn't even do much renovation on that house. And I'm very fortunate that after that tenant, I have the best tenant so far living in there now, and actually offer to renovate a house. Like they paint the walls for me, and then they put like patio stones in the backyard for me. And they're so polite in the way that they actually ask me, can you subsidize us half the cost for the material? We will do the work. I'm just like, hey, just roughly tell me what you want to do. If it makes sense, I think, it's better for you living there and it's going to add value to the property, I'll add it. I'll pay the full material cost.
Thanks.
No worry. Like,
assuming they paint well.
Yeah, they actually paint pretty well.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Awesome. And where was that? Barrie?
No, that's in Alliston. That was actually one of my first house. That's a single family home in Alliston, entire house. And there are more properties in Barrie. There's 2 more properties in Barrie. They're all legal duplex now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who did you use to duplex them?
Who do I use? You mean contractor or?
Maybe don't share contractors because no one wants to share contractors these days. Whoever you're willing to share.
No, I think it's a local contractor. He's a plumber by trade, and he's happened to run a general contracting company, and the cost makes a lot of sense comparing to what I hear from other investor.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Man, I think the price has quadrupled since we started doing this.
So I think if I share my price, some of them might drop their jaw.
What'd you pay?
I pay like 80 to 90,000 just full turnaround for a legal duplex. Yeah. Minor, I would say is a minor. We really only redo the bathroom. Maybe sometimes we do the paint upstairs. We leave the kitchen sort of the way it is if I don't have to replace any appliance, but downstairs is right?
How much money do you think you spent outside the basement for the renovation?
The entire place for the conversion was 80 to 90 grand. All in all.
Okay. And so all the money went to the basement?
No, the upstairs, right? We paint the upstairs and we change some appliances in the upstairs, but generally we buy the place and it doesn't need much work.
Okay, right? So only a couple thousand on the upstairs.
Yeah,
almost all the budget went to the basement.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right, and then who got the permits? You got the permits yourself?
No, I got it myself with the help of my agent. As well, and then that's where I learned a lot because I like to go through the process. And then the first one was a big learning curve, but I found it really interesting. And Barrie City is actually very, very cooperative. The turnaround for them is sometimes only a couple of days. They'll give you a result.
Shut up.
Yeah, that's very, very fast. They've been like one of the most cooperative.
Yeah.
So it's been a good experience. Haven't run into any trouble yet.
Right. No, we've had a couple of people that invest in Barrie. We have John Bedham, Susan White, Manny Cabral. All who invest in the Barrie area. I've really heard good things. And now the next challenge is to get the third unit.
Definitely. And that's what I'm excited about, right? I'm setting some money on the side. And I know John is actually starting to break ground.
You know John well?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're actually in private message as well.
Cool. John Bedham's a really good guy.
Yeah. Great guy. Yeah. And I know he's starting ground and breaking ground in August. And
wait. You got his permit for a third?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think so.
Wow.
I think so. But we can confirm this, but that's what I heard.
He'll be the first person I know personally then to get a third unit.
Yeah. So we're all the investors are kind of leaning on the fence and see what's happening, what's the after repair value is going to be and how much is going to cost. Is it going to be as promised as?
We have to convince him to sell it, so we have comparables.
So he's definitely setting the benchmark, and we're just kind of see if it makes sense to tag along. Right?
Yeah, my friends and I are all also like all waiting for someone else to blaze the trail. We don't want to be the first, but sounds like Barrie's very progressive. Yes. And for background for the listeners' purposes, we are talking about a house, typically a bungalow with legal basement apartment, and now our friend John is trying to. Apparently, he may have already broken ground to add an addition to the property, which will be its own self-contained apartment. And that's likely its own HVAC as well.
Correct.
And him and I discussed this as well. But it'd be interesting to see what his budget's like and what kind of rent he gets.
Yeah. Well, like roughly, I think we're all looking at around $150,000 just to be on the safe side.
All in?
Yeah, all in to add
soft cost too?
Yeah, I think so. in the backyard, and there's some requirements. But if we're getting a good rent out of it, $150,000, it makes a lot of sense, right?
What kind of square footage do you think? Like 1,000, 800?
I think it could be between 500 to maybe 1,000 square feet.
Yeah, more the merrier, obviously.
Yeah, like maybe a 1-bedroom or...
Well, I want the 2. I want the higher rent.
Yeah, if you have a bigger lot, maybe you can put in 2, but it has to meet like certain requirement, right?
Yeah, I want the 2 or 3 bedroom, right?
Yeah.
Depending on square footage, because I know John shared it. I shared last time we talked about it. He thinks he can get 1,600 plus utilities. All right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about that, right? I would not be, because especially when
might even be low, especially if it's 3-bedroom.
Yeah, and because technically you're on your own. Really your own building almost, right? You're not in a duplex, you're not upstairs and downstairs.
You're above grade.
You're above grade, right? And I guess there's small things you need to figure out is probably the parking. If you have enough parking.
It's not really a small thing.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big thing.
Parking and but I think it's very promising.
Yeah, very promising. We may lose, I just thought of it now, is we may lose a little rent because we're using up a lot of our backyard space.
Yeah, you might have to work with your current tenant and see how they feel about it.
Yeah.
And maybe offer them some incentive to work well together, right? Because they're sacrificing some of the privacy and some of the space they originally have. They have to share the barbecue rack in the backyard, maybe.
Yeah, but even still, like, we can use our backyard really for one season.
Yes, and then in Barrie, it's less season, right? It's
I tell people that all the time when they're trying to compare Hamilton to Barrie. Like, okay, you like driving up the 400? Okay, good. Bring a shovel with you anytime you're going in the winter. Maybe some other snowshoes and chain tires and
No, so far I haven't get stuck on a highway or anywhere in Barrie, but anywhere past Highway 9 is a totally different world, right? And when I was working in Alliston, it's kind of in its own bubble. Somehow when there's a snowstorm in Barrie, Alliston is always shelter. But whenever I drive up to Barrie in winter, it's definitely just almost like Game of Thrones and the Stark family
We the North
scene. Yeah, definitely.
I always joke with people because I actually literally know this happened to people is in the winter when they're trying to show a vacant property when their house is for rent.
Yeah.
The for rent sign is like 5 feet off the ground because of the snowbank. So you have to put the for rent sign on top of the snowbank so it's actually visible. But then when you're driving, 5 feet's actually pretty high. But so I joke about that.
Yeah.
I know lots of people have made lots of money in Barrie. I'm just so grateful that I invest in Hamilton when we have so much less snow. Same with St. Catharines, there's so much less snow.
Yeah, I would agree. I think all 3 cities, like within an hour drive of Toronto, has a lot of potential.
Oh yeah, they're all tons of potential.
It has its own merits, pros and cons. And really for investor to decide where to invest. Like for me, I decided to invest in Barrie because when I was working in Alliston, it's a 15-minute drive. I know maybe Hamilton has a better weather, better fundamental and everything.
Bigger city.
Yeah, bigger city, right? More population. Like Hamilton has 450,000 people. Barrie has 1/3 of that. I know that, but to keep everything close and manageable at first, that's why I chose Barrie. Right?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I always go back to like the investment you do is better than the investment you don't.
Oh, for sure.
Right. So if distance stops you from investing, then say an hour drive stops you from investing, then go somewhere closer. Yeah, it may not be as good. Or like for myself, I've always been willing to go the extra mile. Right? That's why I'm in St. Catharines. And that's why I used to be in Brantford.
Chase the next big shining object.
Yeah, bit of issues. I'm cutting down the shiny things. Because these shiny things that we're working on are, like real estate's worked out very well. Don't have to do that shiny now anymore. It
worked out for me. I think it worked out for a lot of people. If you know what you're doing and, you have a good power team that's helping you as well. And just surround yourself with investor friends, good investor like your group, or there's tons of resource out there that you can find and talk to people who has done it and listen to actually not just their success story, but their failure story and try to learn from that and not make the same mistake or at least reduce that mistake.
Right.
And it's always cheaper to learn from other people's mistake. You always said that.
So before we were recording, I was showing you my trading results. So I showed you that really bad week I had where I lost almost $7,000.
Yes, you posted on Facebook. Yes.
Did I post that one? I don't remember posting that one.
No, you posted and
I posted I was all bearish, but anyways, so I lost 7,000 because that was the week where, this was in early April. The market everything was falling apart.
Correct.
I forget which names, but some very smart people were saying this is the Great Depression or worse.
Yeah.
So I was all set up to go bearish on the market, stock market specifically. And then same week, the U.S. Federal Reserve announced $6 trillion of stimulus. Yep. So I got whacked.
Yeah, never fight the Feds.
So I lost more than 7,000 because I was positive on the week. I was probably up a couple thousand, then I lost more than seven. Yeah, my net was I was net negative 7,000 for that week. So I'm not really sure what even the lesson is, right?
Yeah,
because
never fight the Fed.
Don't fight the Fed, but we didn't know.
Yeah,
no one knew. So I shared that with people as well because it's been brought up a couple of times. Like my results have been phenomenal, and then people would just say, "Oh, it's a result of a strong market." Like, no, actually, I would have made more money if this was a bad market.
It seems like you make money both ways, right? If you're so sure about the direction and the odds from your statistical standpoint, if you have a good win rate more than 50% and you stick to your rules, your discipline, and you have a good mindset in it, it could work out really well. Right?
Yeah, it's like the casino. Like the casino is emotionless. You play blackjack. The more time you're sitting at my blackjack table playing, the casino will win.
Exactly.
Right?
Definitely. Yeah. Right? You're just paying a rig every single hand, right? To them. Yeah.
That's my expectation. I'm not going to win every time. But
and you have to be comfortable with that. Like even when I was a day trader, like the amount of time I'm losing is actually more than the amount of time I'm winning. But why I will still be able to up 66% is because of the strategy, right? Depending on your strategy. Like it sounds like your strategy is more of consistently, small wins. Maybe
I don't know what small is.
Oh, okay. Big wins but there are other strategies where you might constantly get hit on your stop loss, but when you win big, you better catch the trend, right? That's what they call swing trading. Right?
Yeah.
So there are different strategies, and you got to make sure you understand that and be comfortable with that, right?
Yeah, because I told you before we were recording, I made $4,600 US on silver.
Yeah, and then you still haven't offered to pay for the golf. I just joke.
I bought the vouchers. We treat our clients well. Yes. I thought you knew that already.
Yes, or actually paid for the last one. And we went.
Oh, that's right.
You paid for the last one. Yes.
And so, Cody, how long you been in Canada?
So I'm 29. I immigrated to Canada when I was 18. Actually, I wouldn't say immigrate because I just came here as a student on student visa. And I'm originally from Taiwan. I went to Vancouver first because my auntie's there and we've been really close. She's kind of like my second mom. So I just naturally to go there and, catch up a year in English and for my last year of grade 12 because they won't let me transfer my credit from Taiwan. So I have to finish all the grade 12 course, including some grade 11 and grade 10. So I just cranked through that for 1 year and then I applied to all the major universities, like the Asian family. They want you to go to a good university.
Like a big brand, yeah.
So I chose U of T.
That's the biggest, yeah.
That was the biggest. And another reason is just, you don't want to go to a big city, right? Vancouver is a bit smaller. It's very interesting as well. A lot of good food, but Toronto just more diverse, and I want to go to a different city. And mainly, I just
you're Chinese and you left Vancouver.
No, at that time, actually, to be honest, it was because my auntie has too much love for me, so she restricted me to do a lot of things. For example, like snowboarding, right? So I know if I want to do snowboarding, I have to, kind of go away from it. So that's why I chose Toronto. And I look back, and that just. Could be a naive choice, but that was the best decision. Right? I made my best friends here
good.
Just because your friends and family are not around, right? You just met new people. And just in terms of the program I was taking mechanical engineering, and there's just a lot more job on the east side of Canada, right? There's more diverse industry where in Vancouver,
auto manufacturing.
Yes, auto manufacturing. And
it's all east, yeah.
In Vancouver, there's more of a servants and finance industry mostly, right? It's some mining, but you have to really go really far away. So Yeah, that's why it's like logically I chose the east side. I chose to come to Toronto.
Right.
I actually visit University of Waterloo as well. I just thought, hey,
big brand, Chinese,
big brand. They're really good with engineering as well. I just I don't want to move from a medium city to a smallest city, sort of. So I just want to come to the big city and experience that, right? So
maybe it's just the grass is greener on the other side, because I love Vancouver. And I'm pretty sure their skiing and snowboarding is better than ours in Ontario.
But the thing is, I didn't have the chance to experience that, right? Because, too much love from the auntie. She doesn't want me to break my leg under her supervision. So she's an insurance broker. So she's like, from the statistical standpoint, snowboarding and skiing has the highest injury and fatality rate. So, coming from the very caring perspective, for sure. Yeah.
And I didn't know this until you told me about it. But at a certain age in Taiwan, people have to join the army?
Yes. So it used to be... first of all, military is mandatory in Taiwan. It used to be 2 years. I'm at dad's age. But now they reduce it to 1 year for if you're born before 1994. If you're born after 1994, you'll need to serve 4 months. But since I was born in 1990, so I need to still serve for 1 year. And yeah, you basically, if you are older than 18 years old and you do not go to college or university, basically, if you're not studying, you have to serve the military for 1 year.
Right. So even when you're done studying, you have to serve.
Yes, you have to serve, unless you have special exemption.
Interesting. Has the threat of war gone down as time has gone, or has gone up? Like, is today less threat of war than previous? Because you told me, like, you're saying like the requirement of military service has gone down.
Correct.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too many headlines, but it always seems like the threat of war is the highest.
Yeah.
So you think the requirement would be longer for more service? Do they conscript? If there's war, will they?
I think there's a lot of reserve in Taiwan or on any. I think even in Canadian Force as well, right? Once you serve it, you're in the reserve.
We're not under threat of war, though. No one's running military exercises near our border.
No.
Like, Canadians, please understand how good we have it.
Yeah. Like, we hear that a lot, and a lot of time we're not sure if that's just flexing a muscle or that was actually serious, right? We can't really tell that, but I know in order to maintain that the state that Taiwan wants to maintain, they are definitely put in some effort and money to show that, hey, we are making effort into this. So we're not, we're not going to give up easily, right? I'll go into details.
One of the Norwegian countries is the same thing. Like, everyone has to serve. I'm not sure if it's women too. But
in Finland, you actually both men and women, have to serve.
Right.
But in Taiwan, it's only male. You have to serve.
Just based on what I read, though, it's a long time enemy that they're preparing for that happened a long time ago. Like Israel, they're under threat. So I understand why they have mandatory military as well. But
yes,
like Taiwan's, the opposition is significant.
I mean, if I want to share a bit more, is really Taiwan is right behind Hong Kong. So Hong Kong signed a treaty, but Taiwan never signed a treaty. And there's a lot of tension in Hong Kong because that's kind of like they're setting an example. If they can make Hong Kong the way they want it to be made, then this is a good example how the next could be Taiwan. So that's kind of the realistic of it, right? So
it's good to be here. Man. All right, let's move on. So you were already trading and stuff. Why so hardcore at real estate? Because when I first met you, you were all about real estate. All our conversations were real estate.
Because I did not know. Most of the real estate people I know don't want to touch trading. And even in your podcast, you talk about a lot of people who come to real estate is because they do not have a success in trading. Right?
Yeah.
And then I have to second that because it took me months and months of losses to get to that game, right? And I wouldn't say that's easy. It's if you're trying to figure out on your own, and there's so much noise out there, and hard to get your mind right. And this is your side hustle, it just basically reduce the amount of rate of success you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I wouldn't say it's easy. I wouldn't say day trading is easy. There's actually more people losing money in day trading than winning. But that's not to say that you cannot make money in day trading. But it's just like investing in real estate as well, right? You could, people can teach you to do this, but if you don't do it the right way, you could still lose money in real estate. It's just that because the property prices in the GTA area has been going up, so it actually masks a lot of our smaller mistake. But in day trading, it's more a shorter time frame. You can see the results. You can measure really fast, right? So I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Is that if you want to close a position at a loss, you can do it on your phone right now. But real estate, you can't do that. You kind of have to go through process and kind of give you a bit more time to think about, is this the actual right choice to do it, right?
So I get this question sometimes, and people ask me, like, if I can only do one thing, should I do stock hacking or should I do real estate?
What's your answer to that?
Both. You did both. Why should you ever have to choose?
I mean,
like for example, almost everyone I know who's trading, where do you think their bankroll came from?
Exactly. And I have to be honest,
all came from real estate.
My bankroll came from real estate as well, right? How else can you accumulate such a big bankroll in a short amount of time if you're not working for some super high paying job? But even super high paying job, you pay a lot of tax on it. And just real estate offers you this very tax efficient way to take back the money, whether that's through refinance, right? Refinance, you have to pay tax on it, or selling your property, and then depending on how you hold it, you can spread it out, or you just pay capital gain, which is a lot more beneficial than actually paying the income tax, right?
It's reminded me about VTBs. Maybe next time I sell, I'll take a VTB so I can spread out the gains.
Yeah, spread out the gains and then only take it when you need it.
Yeah, it's creative. You have a YouTube channel. How old is it? Wait, hang on. Before we go into that, your license plate is Mr. REI. Yet you start a YouTube channel about stocks and options.
Yes. So,
you should just change your license plate again, Mr. Everything.
It's actually Mr. REI at first. It stands for. Actually, I had this chat with you, right? It was going to be Mr. Barrie at first, and then I text you, and then you say, "Hey, why did you pigeonhole yourself? Why don't you use Mr. REI as a real estate investor when investing?" I say, "That's a hell of a good idea." So I went ahead with it, right? And then I remember Cherry was messaged me the other day and say, "Hey, how does this work? YouTube channel, I know you're going to talk about real estate, but now you're mainly talking about stocks and stocks option. Like, how does the REI come into play with this, right?" And then I'm like, "Oh, you're right." So I spin it around really quickly and say, real equity investing.
Oh boy.
So
I hope you share about some investing on your YouTube channel.
Well, I mean, it's not stock advice, but just things personal opinion, actual trades I done, and just try to educate more people like myself. And, even though I'm 29, a lot of people think that, hey, you're too young to do this. And on the other hand, some people might think, hey, you're too old to do this. But to me, it's because I've seen people that are a lot younger than me has more success than me. So I know that age is really not the limit. And it's just time frame that you set on yourself. It's just like when you need to get married. And that's a time frame you set on yourself. But it's not about the age. It's really about who you hang out with, your exposure, your experience, and how do you deal with those experiences if you run into problem, like how do you come up with a solution? I think that's a very important process to learn, not just for trading or real estate, just in real life, right? There's a problem, what you're going to do with it, and what do you take away with it? And then if you have a positive mind, I think like the sky is the limit, really, right? And that's why I took the leap of faith as well.
And where do you record the YouTube?
It's actually where I live right now. Yeah, that's where I live right now. It's right at home. I start out with a camera. I've been told to get a good microphone, but Erwin texted me the other day and say, I have a lot of echo. And I for the longest time, I thought it was a microphone. So I researched on microphone, spent days on it. And then at the end, I actually just put kind of like a curtain with a carpet right beside me when I'm filming it. Like people can't see it, but it's right beside the camera frame. And that actually fixed more than 50% of the problem. So it's actually not the microphone, it's actually the space you're in, because I'm in a bigger space. So the sound just bounced around, right?
Any advice for anyone who wants to start a YouTube channel? You started from nothing, and what do you got now?
I started in March. The first 2 videos were in Mandarin because that's my native language. I just want to test it out. I want to see some data. And I found out from the back end that most of my listeners are actually English speaking listeners. So more than 80%. So that's why right after the third video, I switched it to English. So that's how I make my decision. And yeah, it's been, I'm a little bit over 1K subscriber now.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah.
Wow. That's more than this podcast.
No, you're joking. I know you have like way more downloads than I am.
We have a lot of downloads. We don't have any YouTube subscribers.
But I know that we're both making positive impact, right? Sharing what we love and bring more people on board and just help people get over that hurdle and see average people like us or people around us. We play sports together or we hang out together can actually do it. We're nothing special. We might be studying the same program, right? We're both like, I'm immigrant family, I'm first gen immigration, right? Like there's really nothing that should give you the excuse not to do something, right? Not to make a better life for yourself or your family in the future.
This is why I enjoy challenges, like golf, for example. This is the first season I played more than twice in a season, right? That's how bad I am. So I might shoot 100 today. I've improved a lot.
Yes.
I just enjoy these challenges and like, I like to test some theories. For example, my theory is, if I out hustle other people, as in I out practice them, I get more coaching than them.
Yeah.
Then my objective is to get better than them as fast as possible.
Correct.
Not as fast as possible. I have kids, I have a life, I have all these businesses, right? And then, I beat some people that have been playing for 4 years.
Yeah. Right? No, I'll say that's very good. I mean, we played last week. We're going to go play right after this. 2 weeks ago. We're going to go play right after this. So I'll probably see your progress. But last time was very impressive just by if you only play twice per year for such a long time. I mean, you get some mess up shot, but generally you have a good swing, right? You're natural. And like, to me, like I bought my golf set 2 years ago. I wasn't, I'm thinking, okay, to get more serious about it. And then my goal for this year was actually to get down below 90. But when I started this year was 110 plus. Right, so I would try to play every week, Friday at twilight, and then I just get down to 100. And last game, I actually got down to 87.
Right.
And
which was amazing.
I was playing with Ryan Carr and Chris Lewis, and
name dropping, nice.
Yeah, Cody. And then they're just an inside joke.
You dissed your coach too? Your coach didn't come?
No, he's playing somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
But they thought I was lying about my 90 or 100 because my first 3 hole was a par. And it was just perfect drive.
How many?
Par. It was all par.
First 3? What?
First 3, all nice. Par. Right. And I never hit it such a great shot. And right. I told them this is not every day. I don't know what I eat. But they would just look at me like, yeah, Cody.
Yeah.
They thought I'm
Did
hiding.
You bet? Was there money on the line?
No, there wasn't. There wasn't money on the line.
Those guys can afford it. Ryan Carr and Chris Lewis. Ryan Carr's been on this podcast many times and trying to get Chris out here.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so you seem to like to talk about the YouTube stuff. What are some tips that you've given people? Because there's lots of people who are skeptical. All right. And also understand, like, for anyone who's skeptical, Cody and I get nothing out of it if you watch his YouTube channel and learn something from it. Yeah. All right. We'd love to see you do well. If you don't.
Yeah. The idea of YouTube is really fundamentally is for any average people in this age to
any age
or basically today
any physical capability. You just need like you were just saying before we were recording, you just want to trade from your phone because you want to be able to trade from the golf course.
Yes.
Which is what you do. You trade on your phone.
Yes, only on my phone now.
No more 4 monitors.
No more 4 monitors. I took a picture and shared it to Erwin, and he asked me what the tower is for those 4 monitors. Yeah, and like for YouTube, I think anyone can start, but everyone has to realize that you have to bring some value to your channel. And because when you first start, no one knows you. And probably if you're not bringing a value to the audience, no one will follow you, right? At first, when no one knows you, you have to bring value and make it very efficient. Right? That's what I'm trying to do with my channel as well. And eventually when you have the brand and when you're creating that value, people trust you and they'll bring in more people. And YouTube is a business as well, right? When you're not monetized, basically monetization means I need to have 1,000 subscriber and 4,000 hours of watch time. I have 1,000 subscriber. I don't have $4,000 hours of watch time yet. But after that, once you're monetized, YouTube would take a cut in that revenue. Usually it's around half, right? So that's when YouTube would treat you as a serious partner, because before anyone can do YouTube, but a lot of people basically give up before the monetization, right? But so now you prove it to YouTube that you can actually monetize yourself. You push through it, perseverance, or there's just the audience for it. Now we treat you as a business partner. So we're going to actually try to promote your video more. Mm-hmm. So they actually said that's a snowball effect, right? When you try to get from 0 to 100 subscribers, the hardest. From 100 to 1,000, a little bit easier. And 1,000 to 10,000 might be easier than anything before that, right?
Mm-hmm. When do you think you'll be able to monetize?
I'm actually not sure. I think I'm almost at 3,000 hours. But yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about that. It's making sure that I'm constantly bringing value and make sure that I bring things that my audience want to see. Yeah. And I can see the trend that I'm, as I improve my content, I'm getting better audience, more focused audience as well.
Cool.
And that's just all I want to share, right? And I want to share my journey and share the success I have or the failure I have so far, so that people can learn along and know that, hey, I'm just an average guy, immigrated to Canada. Yes, I did study engineer. I have a little bit math background on it, but hey, English is my second language, right? So I'm trying to do YouTube on my second language. I mean, and then trying to think in that way. That's if I could do it, could do it, right?
Well, where can they find your YouTube channel?
You can find me under Cody Yeh. So my first name and last name, or I just changed the channel name to Cody Yeh Investing last night, just to make it more.
Not Mr. REI. Mr. Real Equity Investing.
That could be, but I just want to make sure people understand that, it's an investing channel. So, people are more likely to click in it.
Awesome. Okay. Cody, any final thoughts you want to share? Where can people follow you if they want to?
I mean, you can follow me on YouTube channel. Just search up Cody Yeh on my YouTube channel, or Instagram, same thing, Cody Yeh.
Yeah. Or CODY.
Yeah, CODYYEH.
Yeah.
Or just follow me on Facebook, right? I don't have 5,000 friends yet, so you can still add me if you found it interesting.
For only limited time. Cody's still under 5,000.
Correct.
All right. Thank you, Cody, for doing this. We'll have to update who wins. You should beat me. You should beat me if you can shoot sub 90.
Just because I play a little bit more this year, right?
And you're younger.
Yes, definitely.
And you're stronger.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cody.
Thank you.
If you're feeling confused after all the YouTube videos, books, and forum posts, you're probably still left with questions. Starting in real estate is really tricky. Trust me, I've been in this for a long time. And the real estate's always forever changing. What our strategy is for 2020 is very different than what our planned strategy was for 2019. Anyways, frustrated beginners often ask how legal basement suite conversions actually work. Most of the time, we can only give general answers, but now we can go deep. After this in-depth free class, you'll learn how to take your first steps as a real estate investor. Nothing's held back. Everything from analyzing basement suite conversions to renting out your first property for a profit, even how to refinance and do it all again. More secrets you'll uncover are how to profit in a hot market, municipal bylaws to watch out for, mortgage terms that favor refinancing, one barely used tactic for higher appraisals. And if you're frustrated, unsure how to get started, this is for you. Sign up now and be the first to know about the next class. You can go register at investortraining.ca/free class. Again, that's investortraining.ca/free class. And just to warn you, you probably want to do this soon. We filled up the first classes. We have 2 booked already for 2020. The first one filled up in 30 minutes. The second one, we don't know how quickly it filled up, but it filled up in the first day. So seats are absolutely limited. Demand is completely outstripping supply. So when you go register, when you see a new class opens up, register as fast as possible, and hope to see you there. And yes, I will be there personally. Hope to see you there.